It's 3:01. I'll call the meeting to order. My name is Dan Guard, Chair of the Montgomery County Regional Sewer District. First item is the approval of the August 13, 2025 board meeting minutes. Entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Greg Morrison, board member. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Mike Warren, board member, second.
Any discussion, additions, comments on the minutes? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Next up is our bank balances.
Joyce, Grimble, treasurer. The grinder pump maintenance fund, excuse me, is at $12,845.36. The operating fund is at $154,981.32. The money market or the capital fund is $43,515.27.
Thank you. Next up is our administration report with BCS Management, Chris Kellner.
Chris Kellner, BCS Management. You just heard the funds. They're very healthy. At the end of the month in August, the operating fund was sitting at 3.75 times the last rolling 6-month average of operating claims. So again, those are regular operating claims. It doesn't include like pass-throughs to Dutcher trenching for pump and haul, things like that. And so that's very healthy. 3 is kind of the minimum where we look to say that's where they should be. And then if you're at 4, that's a target. That's a good target. 5 or higher is like extraordinary. So at 3.75 as of the end of last month, that's great. Regular sewer billing has been steady. Regular operating claims were about $35,041, leaving us with about $7,000 of regular operating surplus, putting the surplus close to $43,000 so far this year to date. That's great. That's good news. Again, seeing those rate increases contributing with the thing we're expecting is with the last payment for the loan to the RDC going out in November, that'll close that out, and that's a $4,400 added increase for cash flow that'll be really helpful to keep building up the capital fund, which you saw is at a healthy level, but will dip because there's a $16,188.50 capital asset expense that's in the claims today, so that will go down as that fund is adjusted. USIC is on track. Again, I'm tracking all those tickets and the pricing. Again, less than $18 a ticket, not a bad thing. We'll see how the suit settles and if somebody else is providing locates because of that. Just a quick note, the House Enrolled Act 1459, which relates to water and wastewater asset management and board like governance, the IURC issued kind of a straw man. They wanted public comment on that guidance. They issued it. I provided feedback publicly just on the behalf of all of the RSC clients I work with. And it was very favorable is what I would say. The ramp up is very favorable. You've got 8 years really to kind of get figuring it out. The first 4 years is really about just submitting the survey and saying, we're aware that we have to do this. And then the second 4 years, you have to start doing some things, but the efficiencies are going to be very light. And then after that is really when you have to start engaging and doing a lot. So really, it's kind of nice. It's a non-event. You don't have to scramble next year to start complying. So you got a lot of time, which is great. So more on that in October when they officially have to get out that guidance after they got all these public comments. That is all of the highlights from the report. So if there's any questions from the report I emailed out, just let me know.
Any questions for Chris? Next up, be our operations report. Tom Asbury with Asbury Technologies.
Yeah, Tom Asbury, Asbury Water Technology. So for the month of July, the treatment system was in full compliance with all the permits. In fact, the removal percentages for the pollutants that we monitor were all above 99 or at 99% or above. Well, I mean, it's hard to do better than that. But as we mentioned during the last meeting, we're doing some troubleshooting with the effluent flow meter, and we thought that we had the issue fixed, but the sensor is shot, and we had B.O. Anderson out there on September 9th to quote a replacement. Since it was installed, I believe 2012, I think it's got a 2011 manufacture date. They no longer support, Siemens no longer supports, provides spare parts for that unit. So they quoted on a replacement unit, and I'll get to that in a second. So as a result of not having accurate effluent flow data, we're reporting the influent flow data, which is more accurate than the effluent, but it double counts some of the digester decant water, so it really shouldn't be relied upon. We've made notations on that in the IDEM reports, so we're good to go on that. But don't lose any sleep over the fact that it says that the average influent flow is 80,000 gallons a day, which is technically 80% of the capacity of the plant. It still remains around the 50% mark. So moving on from that and to the effluent flow meter issue, B.L. Anderson, their total quote, including our 15% contract markup, $5,854. We think that we also happen to rep another brand of flow meter that it might be a better option for this. So I think it might be possible that we can beat that quote, but just because it's important to get good, accurate flow data, I guess we're requesting that we get a approval for a not to exceed of that $5,800, so we can make moves before the next meeting and start getting accurate flow data. So I guess that's the only action item. And I didn't know if you wanted me to go to the new business part of that, or just keep it there.
Sorry. You've heard the recommendation from Tom with our situation with the equipment need to be replaced. At this time, I would entertain a motion to take his recommendation to investigate another replacement besides this, and then not to exceed the $5,854.65 to make those repairs.
I got one question.
Yep.
So you'd mentioned earlier, Tom, in there that the Seaman brand or whatever it was not replaceable now.
Right.
So this flow meter thing is not just a sensor, it's a whole unit basically?
Yeah, it's a sensor and then a display unit, and then there's an add-on that's required to be able to log the flows every 24 hours. So yeah, it's basically a full new unit.
Okay, so we're not just placing our sensor.
We would just replace the sensor if they still made replacement parts for it, but unfortunately they don't.
Okay, like Morrison, Director, I second the motion for Dan Gard, so how's that?
You made a motion. I'm entertaining the motion. You would so move.
I'll second it, David Reeves.
All right, David Reeves seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion to take care of this and replace the
I have a question, Tom. So you mentioned not going with Siemens, but would finding a cheaper model be just as have the longevity that the Siemens has had?
Yeah, we the Siemens unit lasted 12, 13 years, so that's pretty good. That's about what you would hope to have something last longer than 10 years. We definitely wouldn't want to compromise longevity just for price. You look for the best overall value. So the model that we'll also be looking at is called East Tech. I think it's better than Siemens, but it's good to have a couple of options there.
Any other questions for Tom regarding the equipment?
I'll be going to new business real quick.
Well, we've got a motion and a second. We need to take action on the replacement. So all in favor of approving the not to exceed for the equipment replacement, signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? All right. Motion passes. Go ahead, Tom. New business.
Very good. And the generator preventative maintenance was performed, as routinely scheduled. on August 13th and 14th. In the email, I attached the results of those inspections, and everything turned out. They didn't note anything, which is kind of rare, and definitely appreciated. So that went well. And in the past, we kind of caught up on some issues that we'd kind of kicked down the road on some of those, and that have been taken care of. So the influent lift station, Xylem, installed the replacement transducer on August 19th. That was previously approved as well. And then finally, we had Fairfield Roofing and Construction out to provide a quote on the damaged soffit, as well as some of the ceiling tiles that previously incurred some water damage before the roof was replaced in 2019. So we'll be presenting that proposal at the next meeting, so we don't have anything on that. And that really concludes the report.
Just one question to the damages and the work need to be done. Is there anything that was caused was there any cause that maybe insurance would help us in this situation or not?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
it'd be below the deductible anyway, and I'm not sure what event it would be attributable to.
Okay,
So,
just checking.
yeah.
We have nothing under project updates or new business. Under old business, we have proposed resolution for no more metering. BCS management, Chris?
The district is not set up to do metering. We're not at a scale where it makes a lot of sense to invest in the technology and the people to do it. So we're just recommending for this district, it makes a lot of sense to cease all metered charges.
Thank you. It's not on the docket here or on the agenda, but under old business, I'd like for Tyler Nichols to speak to the situation with the USIC and the Windhoven.
So as you know, we've been involved in this litigation for some time now. And before you today, I sat down before everybody else, a release and settlement agreement. USIC is willing to settle this in exchange for dismissal of them out of the lawsuit for $5,000. We've reviewed the agreement and find it acceptable. So I'm asking for your approval of that agreement and dismissal. And then in speaking with Windhoven and just in the whole contextual circumstances of the case after discovery has gone on and everything, they are pretty steadfast in their claims of no liability and have not made an offer and do not plan to make an offer. As we've discussed previously, it's my recommendation today to authorize me to go ahead and dismiss them out of the case and be done with this case.
Anybody have any questions for Tyler? At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Really quick. So just wondering, when you were talking with them in discussions, do they understand that they could lose their contract with us over this? Was that a part of the discussion?
Yeah, I believe so. I had that conversation with USIC's attorney.
So $5,000 is all they care about us?
That's where we're at.
And at this point, and we've talked about it before, the amount of money that we would spend to continue to get no further along and any more benefit out of this. I would entertain a motion to take the recommendation from Tyler to accept the USIC agreement for the $5,000 and release them, and then also as well as releasing Windhoven.
David Reeves, I move that we accept Tyler's proposal.
Mike Warren, second.
We have a motion and a second. It's up for discussion. Is there any discussion?
Just further, you go back for me, because all this occurred before I started, I believe, right? How much damage and all of that?
It was $23,000, I believe, total.
Okay.
We're getting 5 back. Yeah, and if you recall, the contract limits their liability to 0.
Sure.
It's close.
And, well, I would just say it's pretty clear after discovery that it was really USIC that created the problem, it appears, so. Correct.
All in favor of approving the recommendation from Tyler Nichols, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next up is our approval of claims. We have are the claims down there? Did I pass that down for signature? There you go. That's all right, that's all right. I just want to give the accurate, the exact dollar amount. So I'd entertain a motion to approve claims of $65,054.96 on this date, 10th of September.
Joyce Grimble, so moved.
Mike Warren, second.
Any discussion to claims? All in favor for approval, say aye. Aye. Oppose? That is it for approval of claims. It's the end of our agenda. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Nope.
Greg Morrison, board member, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.